Okay, here's the second lesson in chapter 3. We're going lesson 3.1.2, and we're going to start with a review over how you can find the equation of really anything given 2 points. We're going to start with looking at the equation of a line. And here's one of the formats for a line, y equals mx plus b, and here's 2 points that line can go through. So here's one way to do that. Um, these are x and y, right? So I can replace y over here with the 2. Don't know m, so I'm going to call it m. Replace the x here with the 3. Don't know b, so I'm going to call it b. I'm going to repeat the process with the second equation, or second point. So in place of y, a 5. In place of x, a -1. Let's go ahead and put parentheses around those to be clear. And now I'm going to go ahead and try to solve. Um, so I need to eliminate one of the variables so that I can solve for the other. Do you guys remember elimination method? That's one method here we can use. I'm going to go ahead and try to eliminate the bottom. I want to eliminate b. So if I switch the sign on each of these, switch that to negative, switch this to positive, switch this to negative, a positive b plus a negative b makes that 0. And so I've got 3m. Usually we don't write this order. It would be like this, 3m, and then a positive 1m. So 3 minus, or 3 together with the 1. I'm actually adding now, so I get 4m and a -2. So I can divide both sides by 4, and I find out that the slope is a -1/2. Okay, now that I know the slope, I can take that back and find the other parts using what I have here. So let's use this first equation because it looks prettier to me. 2 equals a -1/2 slope, and a 3, and a plus b. So now I want to solve for b. So 2 equals -3/2 plus b. Add 3/2 to both sides. And so b will be, let's see, 3/2 is the same as 1 1/2, so that's 3 1/2. 3.5 is my b. So now I know b, I know m, and I can find the equation of the line. So the equation of the line will be y equals -1/2 for m, x plus 3.5, and there's the equation. Okay, so this is kind of an easy review of what we're going to do next. So here's the next task. Problem 3-15. In this lesson, our goal is to learn how to find an exponential function in this format that passes through 2 given points. So we're going to do the same task, but instead of finding a line, we want to find an exponential form. So let's take a look. Find an exponential function in this format for these 2 points. The steps of the process are outlined right here if we need them. So I'm going to show and talk out all of this, and you need to take notes on this in your notebook. Okay, so for part A, write a system of 2 equations by replacing x and y with the points given. Okay, so this is x, this is y, this is x, this is y, and I'm going to write an equation for each of them. So for the first one, 218, here's the equation. It's going to be in this form. The format is y equals a times b to the x. So in place of y, we put 18. I don't know a, so call it a. Don't know b, call it b, and raise it to the power of 2. Second one, for 162. Going to make an equation with that. 162 is the y value, so I replace that. And I don't know a, so I call it a. B stays b, and the power is 4. Okay, so we did a. Next, b. Solve for a in terms of b in one of the equations. Doesn't matter which one, let's just choose one. So solve for a in terms of b. What does that mean? solve for a. Well, that means get a all by its lonesome, all by itself. So I'm going to use this one to do that. To get a by itself, I would divide both sides by b squared. So I'm going to end up with a is equal to 18 over b squared. There, did it. Okay, so that's that part. Now substitute this value into the other equation to obtain one equation, that's the goal, with a single variable b. Okay, so I'm going to substitute. All right, so I'm going to take the a value and substitute it into the second equation. So instead of a here, I'm going to have 18b squared. So let's rewrite that. Rewrite this. Okay, so 162 equals, instead of a, 18 over b squared, and then that's times b to the fourth power. Now, this is a fraction, this one's not. I can make them look in the same format if I put this over 1. It makes it a little bit easier. So I've got 18 times b to the fourth and b squared on the bottom. Remember, multiply straight across since the top and the bottom. So if I simplify this, two b's, b squared, cancels with the b to the fourth and leaves b squared. So this simplifies to 162 equals 18b squared. Ah, that's very handy. So now I just need to solve for b. I can divide both sides by 18, and I get b squared equals, okay, calculator work here, 162 divided by 18, I get 9. Oh, that's nice, because then I can square root, and a b could either be positive 3 or negative 3. Now, why plus or minus? Well, positive 3 squared makes 9, right? Negative 3 squared also makes 9. So my b can be plus or minus 3. Well, whether we use the positive or the negative, that ends up depending on what type of problem we're dealing with. So let's just stick with the positive because this is representing a multiplier. So we'll deal with the positive 3. Okay, so now we did part B. C, solve the equation for part, we did part C. Use the value of B to find the value of A. Okay, so at this point, that means I'm going to use either of the two equations that I started with. Doesn't this one look more friendly? Smaller numbers? Sure. So I'm going to rewrite that. 18 equals A. We don't know A yet, but I've got a B, which is, we figured out 3. So 3 to the 2 power, 3 squared. So 3 squared is 9, so I've got 18 is equal to a times 9, which is 9a. Divide both sides by 9, and the value of a is 2. Okay, write the final equation. That's the very last step. So now I know a, now I know b, so I'm going to use this format to write my very final equation, which will be y equals a 2 times b 3 to the power of x. There's the exponential function, or the exponential equation that goes through these 2 points. Okay, so we're going to practice this process in the next class.